8 years ago, I was invited to my first St. Ambrose benefit dinner. So I went to the dinner without knowing what to expect. We had recently entered the church, and my wife and I were very interested in what Catholic education had to offer. We were not prepared for what we would encounter that night. The students' speeches and testimonials were brilliant. I had never seen so many intelligent young minds speak with such enthusiasm and high regard of their school. They attributed their knowledge and faith to St. Ambrose Academy. I was completely blown away by everything I experienced that night. On our way home, St. Ambrose was the only thing in our minds, especially the idea of sending our children there. At the time, we were going through a very difficult financial situation, and I realized it was feasible and impossible for my wife and I to pay the tuition to enroll our children in St. Ambrose. But I knew that if my children were meant to go there, God would show me the way. As I mentioned earlier, my wife and family had recently entered the church, and as part of our conversion, God had opened our hearts to grow our family. After 2 miscarriages, my wife became pregnant again and was a very high-risk pregnancy. These health challenges made it impossible for us to continue homeschooling our 3 boys and especially continue to challenge our oldest son academically. To me, this was the nudge I needed to call the school. But honestly, I wasn't even sure for what, since I knew I couldn't afford it. I called the school and spoke with Principal Scott Schmiesing, who was very welcoming, and he invited me to come to the school to meet him. During our meeting, I told him everything about how inspirational the students were and how I wanted to send my own children to receive their unique Catholic education, and about how I simply had no means of affording it. Scott told me, "Daniel, don't worry. We'll work with you. We don't deny anyone a good Catholic education." That statement was the clearest and most resounding answer to my prayers. So I sent my oldest son, Nathan, to St. Ambrose in the middle of his 7th grade. And the following year, my son Ethan began 6th grade, both of them on partial scholarships. During that year, my financial situation started to change. I found an opportunity to open my own business, and even though it seemed impossible and very risky, I prayed to God and promised that I will do everything in my power to succeed. And certainly, God began to open doors. I started Mercy Dental Group in 2015 and promised that if things went well with the business, I will give back to St. Ambrose in any way I could. Over the next few years, the business has grown, and by God's grace, we had gone from being unable to send even one of our children to St. Ambrose without relying on the benefactors, to now proudly being a benefactor myself, and to be able to give back to the school that has given my children so much. St. Ambrose has been life-changing for our family. He has made us all want to deepen our faith and connection to God. He has helped my children to be insightful and faithful young men. I'm always in awe of the conversations that I have with them and how eloquent and knowledgeable they are. And I know I owe that to the amazing support to St. Ambrose Academy, especially its staff and benefactors. If anyone here has any doubts or interest of sending your children here, or even if you have no children at all and are simply interested in supporting the school, I strongly urge you to do so. St. Ambrose is shaping not only my children, but all its students to be the best, brightest, and faithful men and women of the future. He has taught them what it means to be honest, have integrity, and has definitely taught them to think. Most importantly, He has taught them what it means to be holy and how to lead a holy life. He has given them a true love for God, and that is a gift that can't be measured. This year, my eldest son, Nathan, is a senior and will be graduating. When I think about that, I realize the miracle that God allowed through the generosity of the benefactors that helped my family when we most needed it. To all the benefactors of St. Ambrose, I want to say thank you. To all of you that are here tonight, I want to encourage you to support our school financially, but most importantly, with your prayers. St. Ambrose is what can help change the future, the culture in our society, state, and ultimately our country. Thank you, and God bless you.